The Best Ranger competition is a competition of two of the best Rangers a unit can come up with to put on a team to face off against teams from all across the rest of the military. Some units will get slots for 2 or 3 teams depending on how well they compete every year. As you'll see, regiment, ARTB teams that consistently place higher within the ranks will get a couple more teams than some of the units that just barely show up, or they show up for one time and get knocked out in the first event. So it really does matter as far as legacy and that unit coming and performing every time. But the nitty gritty of what the Best Ranger competition is, this is the Olympics for the Army. It's a 3-day dogfight between 120 of the best Rangers in the Army to see who is going to be standing at the top after 72 hours of competition and calling themselves the Best Ranger. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us as we begin the behind the scenes of the Best Ranger competition. Throughout this series, we're going to talk with different planners, different people involved within the Best Ranger community, and what makes Best Ranger get off the ground. We're going to give you a look behind the scenes at one of the shops a lot of people don't know a lot about, the ARTB S5 shop, and what it was created for, and what it still does today for the Ranger community and for the Best Ranger community. Here with me today, we have Chris Torres from the S5 shop. We also have Greg Kaufman from 4th RTB, who is the current Special Projects Officer in charge of planning of Best Ranger this year. And then we have Jordan Wason, who's also out of the S5 shop. What a lot of people don't realize is as Best Ranger is going and these lanes are going, there's so many things that are behind the scenes that the S5 shop delivers on. And we're gonna show some of that stuff throughout this series as we talk to, like I said, the planners. We're going to get the Sergeant Major in here. We'll get some of the competitors, and we're also going to be traveling around to different bases so that we can get some footage of the actual train-ups. Old Guard has invited us out, West Point, 101st, 82nd, 3rd ID, just to name a few, and then of course Regiment come January. So that leads me to my next point. We got Greg Kaufman here. He is the Special Projects Officer for 4th RTB. So he is the guy that the colonel says, hey, I want to run Best Ranger. This is my realm. This is how I want it. Now make it happen. All right, this is your left-right limit, and let's make it happen. So thanks for joining us today, Greg. Can you tell us a little bit about what came behind you becoming the SPO for Best Ranger this year?
Yeah, so I got here in January this year. I was assigned in BCO originally as one of their platoon tactical trainers. So I was just basically another RI and kind of the company XO. So as soon as I got here, Jack, the old company commander there, said, hey, I need a guy to run this event at BRC. It was day stakes overall. So if you were over at the stadium last year at Doughboy, I was doing all of the resourcing for the portable latrines, the ropes and cones, the AV.
You're doing the new officer stuff.
I was doing the new officer stuff of, hey, you're the new guy. I know you can plan a range, so why don't you plan this too? So I also got together with all the PIs from across the companies that were doing stuff like breach or the grenade assault course, and figured out a spot for each of them to go on the field so that it would be fluid. You could go from event to event. All the competitors could all see, or all the spectators could all see the things that were going on the field.
Nice.
And after that happened in April, it was probably a month later in May, they were like, hey, you did fine doing the day stakes. We're going to tag you as the SPO. So if you're wondering how long the planning process is for BRC, it's pretty much 11 months. It's like as soon as the last BRC is complete, yeah, you could have a couple weeks off, but then we're going to start planning the next one.
Well, I think that's something a lot of people don't really take into effect is like they get to see Best Ranger as a product, right? So that weekend in April, you're seeing Best Ranger as the final product. You're seeing the competitors competing. You're seeing the social events, all the stuff that is involved in that great weekend, and why it gets a lot of people to see. But I think what people don't understand is that is one of the biggest events for ARTB for the whole year. Like this is the Super Bowl, in so many ways. And especially for like the S5 shop, they're, a bunch of misfit toys from across Brigade in one shop, because they're good at thinking on a pivot, and they're able to make changes really quickly and get things accomplished, right? You have to have a go-getter in that office. So with that being said, like, you come out of Best Ranger, and I know Torres and Wason within days are preparing for Ranger Hall of Fame, and then while still also doubling down for Best Ranger. Right now, just because, I am here and we do, I attend the IPRs. What IPR are we on Best Ranger so far for this year?
For this year, I think it's either 7 or 8 is going to be.
We're on 8.
8. There we go.
So we're looking at, it's not even November. We ended April of last year, Best Ranger ended, and we're already on IPR 8. I mean, that's just a small piece. And who knows what the final IPR will be, but yeah, I think that's a pretty cool thing about Best Ranger is it's not something that gets thrown together at the last minute. So
yeah, we don't take it lightly.
So with that being said, part of the getting Best Ranger ready, doing the IPRs is also the National Ranger Association, who helps resource a lot of the things for Best Ranger. Every year they go to AUSA. And we go to SHOT Show as a chance to speak with vendors, find new things for Best Ranger, stuff like that. So we just got back from AUSA about a week ago. This was your first time. I've been a couple times. Torres has been a couple times. And then this was Jordan's first time. So as a first-time person going to AUSA and, with BRC on your mind, like what was that like for you?
Well, let me start by saying that when I got here, and I just met you last year when I was a PI for 2025, and I had no idea what the National Ranger Association did. I saw y'all at the RIA and Ranger grads and stuff like that, but then when it came to the resourcing, I saw exactly what you guys do. Then you guys invited me over to AUSA. Had a blast over there with the guys over at Old Guard and checking out all the stuff on the floor. What I saw was like so much opportunity.
Yeah.
There were so many things that as soon as I saw it, like my mind started racing. All the ways that I could incorporate that into an event, really change something that I thought I wanted. Maybe it turns out this would be even better.
Nice. Is there anything in particular that you can think that you found at AUSA this year that's going to be involved with Best Ranger this year that's maybe something new, something people haven't seen before?
I think one of the coolest things we saw, I know you already know what I'm thinking of.
Yes, I do.
Is the AU Fire Injury Training System.
Yeah.
That stuff it's so unique, and it's so needed as well. And
that's the one that's actually like electrocutes you, right?
Yeah, it locked my arm up. I couldn't move
Gives you a
it.
little shock, just a little shock.
We will upload that video so everyone can see. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it's pretty epic.
There you go. See how it opens his hand? Yeah. So I call that one Spider-Man. But then, if I do these two together, that's chicken wing. That's tight, right? You can't do anything with that arm. It's gone, right? Completely gone. So as long as I hold those buttons down, it's got you. Now this will be Spider-Man on a floor, right? So it can mess up your dexterity. Right? You really can't do much with that hand. You definitely can't get a gun out, right? That's the inner form. That's tight, right? So there's nothing you can do with that. But his shoulder's good. You can move your shoulder all around, right? Yep. He's like, shut the fuck up and turn it off. But
Right. You ran into the right of them all. Or the grass is kind of stick point calibration.
It really makes you, if you got hit in the arm, you are not using that arm anymore.
Can't change a mag.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they got me in the middle of a mag change, and it totally fucked me up.
Well, we had that same thing here at Maneuver Warfare Conference, and Torres was like, you have to try out the video camera part of it. I didn't try the shock thing just because I wasn't trying to get shocked in the middle of the hallway. But I put the video camera on, and it was cool because you're like in the room. It builds the room out for you, the targets and everything. Well, what it didn't do for me was there was this old guy in the middle of the hallway that was directly in line with like my character in the video, and I walked into this old man at 100 miles an hour and like about put him through the floor.
Yeah.
Like
He told you to walk forward, and you didn't just casually walk. You power trained into the
Oaked
hallway.
out, put this guy in the hospital at Maneuver Warfare. So I think it's a great tool. It'll be cool to see a BRC, especially in a room where there's not old people standing in the middle of it. But I think that's pretty cool. Is there anything else that you saw there that might be a first time in Best Ranger?
Yeah, as we have so much battlefield technology going on, and we'd be crazy to not include stuff like drones in the next year's competition. First, we wanted to get some drone use, and then the next step is everybody's thinking in the Army is how do we counter these drones? How do we protect soldiers, protect high-value items?
Yeah.
And so we had to start thinking of ways to take out drones that wouldn't, bankrupt us. So we looked at some pretty cool options for printing drones, getting some dummy drones that just fly it straight, that are cheap. We'll take them out of the sky with a shotgun or something and not think twice about it. And then for FPV drones, we talked to some guys over there at AUSA that were super helpful with getting us the kind of drones that we would like to see at the competition.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That's probably one of my least favorite conversations to try to lead into to solicit something for Best Ranger. It's like, hey, so you're a drone company. Those are some really cool drones. Can we get a lot of them? Because we're gonna break most of them. It's definitely made the job difficult until we, luckily with ADS and with
Modell.
Matt Rogers over there hooking us up with. I think the company's ABSI. I'll have to double check, but him linking us up with them, 3D printed drones that we can just shoot out of the sky. Like,
You gotta think they also gotta make drones to be private proof.
Yeah, this is true.
Good way to test it is give it to a bunch of rangers.
Yeah.
They'll figure out what's wrong with it.
Private proof or just old E7 proof.
And we had, when I was a PO, we had the Black Hornets,
Yeah.
and they called them the flying flipple because nobody wanted to fly them. You'd lose a part, have to initiate a flipple that nobody wants to look at. So
Yeah, that's fair. So another question we had for you. This is the first podcast, so this is kind of the early stages of releasing information for Best Ranger. Can you tell us a little bit about the theme for Best Ranger this year? Like what the brigade is looking at and what that entails?
I can't say for certain what the theme is going to be. We're still working on that. I think we're all celebrating the 75th anniversary of the first Ranger class, and then 2026 will be the first anniversary of graduating that first Ranger class. So that's sort of where my head's at with it.
Yeah, 75, easy thing to spin off, do a lot of things with, so definitely makes sense. All right, so with you being the lead planner this year, what are some things that you're excited about with Best Ranger this year? Because before you've had to run your own lane, and so you've had the ups and downs of resourcing for that. But as the planner that kind of gets to help guide the brigade commander's vision, what are some things that you're excited to kind of help use your influence into the competition this year as a planner?
I think the most exciting part for me is getting to meet all of the faces around Fort Benning. That's sort of like the intent this year was all these guys over at AMU, 316 Cav, the Mortar Leader course. Who else? We have the guys over at the Bradley Master Gunner course. They're under 316 Cav. And
Snipers, you mentioned snipers?
Snipers under 316 Cav too. So they've all been like super helpful, really eager to make some cool course of fire for us, for example. That's probably been the coolest part this year, is getting so many people to buy into the competition.
Yeah, I mean, I do think with everything going on, this could be one of the coolest, visual Best Rangers that's ever been. Especially some of the, donors, sponsors that are coming in. If you could, give one piece of advice to anybody wanting to attend Best Ranger this year, what would that piece of advice be? For just the, they don't know much about the Ranger community, they don't know any of the competitors, but they've heard about Best Ranger, they want to come, they want to get a good viewing of Best Ranger.
If I had no idea what Best Ranger competition was about, I would want to be at day stakes. So the second day of the competition will be on the 11th of April, where you go to wherever we have it. It's probably going to be over at York Field by Building 4. There are going to be some bleachers set up, spectator friendly. Come bring your family, sit down.
We'll have the petting zoo up, all the different supporters will be out there with their 10 by 10 tent.
That's right.
All the gear and stuff.
Then there's all of your efforts to help make the competition like broadcastable. So there's going to be many opportunities to see these guys do some stuff that normally that'd be behind a closed door that you can't get a good look at. But this year could have a camera in there. You guys can all see what your competitors are going through. If I had a team, or if I was free to roam around BRC, I'd definitely want to go see Patton Range over on the first day, the 10th of April. Some cool stuff's going to be going down over there too.
Is that where all the guns are?
That'll be where the big guns are.
Nice. And for what he's talking about as far as viewing, so last year with Best Ranger, it was kind of a first of its kind, where we started off, we had 3-4 events. After those 3-4 events, it shut down. We knocked off the first 20 teams, I think is what it was. And then we went into the Pick Your Own Destiny, which was the first time they've ever done that. So we're rolling back with that again this year, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
So with the, Pick Your Own Destiny, it allows for some, the Rangers to have to think on their feet, create the right path, and get to the ranges and back in time. But what that also did for the viewers was make it very difficult to view the whole competition, because instead of having point A, point B, point C, point D, and you just follow through, now all the competitors are scattered. So what we're doing with the help of Brigade and the National Ranger Association is we're going to set up an actual viewing center on day one on Camp Rogers on the Alpha Company CTA, which will have multiple TVs to have all the different angles of live stream sending back to that, right? So that's going to give families that are tired of chasing one competitor or want to come back and get some food. We're going to have the food trucks there outside the viewing center, so you can get some food. You can sit down in the viewing center where you can watch multiple angles of the competition. This year is going to be exciting as we have a lot better internet service that will be provided to us out at the ranges. Along with this year, we have range cameras that will be facing back at the competitors. So with that, we definitely want everybody coming out. If you don't want to walk and go through the heat, we'll have the viewing center ready with a couple blow-ups for the kids that are just not interested in watching the competition anymore but want to play, but want mom to have time to watch their spouse compete. And so we'll have that day one at Camp Rogers at the Alpha Company CTA. That will move locations for day two. It'll be closer to York Field where they're actually doing the competition for day two. And then day three, we're looking at having that same viewing center at the NIM, which is the finish line. So that should be pretty cool for everybody this year as far as viewing for the competition. So with that being said, we're early in the planning. Is there anything right now that you're working on or trying to work the kinks out from now till BRC? Like, what's your biggest obstacle right now?
The biggest obstacle is just going to be communication, really. I've got, 60 different RIs that are going to be my line of communication to their event, and I'm one guy.
So you're saying one captain can't control 60 NCOs?
Maybe on a good day.
You can't even control three.
I couldn't control 3 Sergeant Torreses over here.
I mean, at BC we couldn't control one.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
What can I say? I'm a wild man. I like to get out, talk a lot.
With that being said, talk about AUSA. I just need it to be known for the public that we ran as a group and got to experience running the National Mall. It was the coolest thing ever. Just getting to run in the morning. I think people that are stationed there kind of get to take it for granted of running that every morning. But for some outside folks from Georgia and, Fort Benning, it was probably, to me, is one of the coolest things we did. And then also it showed them the lightning speed that I still have as a retiree as I set the pace for at least the first couple hundred feet. But yeah, so was there anything else that we did at AUSA that you guys like highlighted for you guys specifically? Obviously going towards Best Ranger, but also within the community and stuff. So
I mean, the tour with the Old Guard over at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier was such a highlight.
Well, and I think what's cool about that too is like you have Sergeant Major Rocky who's in charge of the Old Guard, right? And for him to open his doors for us to get to see a piece of history and to get to experience that, and for the viewers that are out there that didn't get to see what we saw, we were down there in the quarters as they had to do a 3-minute drill to get dressed because the guy that was giving us the tour was also supposed to be going up top to change someone over, but got carried away with our tour. And so he had, for some of us, retired E7s and current E7s and captains and some Sergeant Major retirees that were in the room with us, it was stressful. Like, it was stressful.
I got as tiny as I could in my seat.
Yeah, I was trying to become non-existent during that moment.
When they said that White had 3 minutes to go from khakis and a polo to dress blues, like perfect dress blues, like in my 20 years, I can't say a single time my dress blues were perfect, but more or less in 3 minutes, right? And so I don't think you grasp that level of stress because even as Rangers, there's things that we do that we expect perfection or we expect to do perfect. You're ready to pivot if need be, but there's really nowhere that other than the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier where it is perfection every time. And there's
perfection or nothing.
There's no other option. It's either perfect or you're gone. Yeah. So hats off to those guys and Sergeant Major Rocky for opening the doors to us. I mean, he was in a situation last year where he was having a hard time getting people in the Old Guard hyped up about Best Ranger, and you're talking to Sergeant Major who just said, "All right, I'm gonna lace my boots up and do it myself," And I think that's a great example of an NCO leading from the front. It's like, all right, cool. Like, I may be old, I may be getting tired. I mean, he's still in great shape, but I'm gonna step up and I'm gonna compete with these 24-year-old lieutenants, and stuff like that. So hats off to him. Hats off to the Old Guard for opening their doors to us. That was great. We really appreciate it. One last thing, and I have had questions about this. Last year, ARTB tried to send out one enlisted, one officer. Is that happening again this year? I know, we were trying to get away from the 2 lieutenant teams and get the enlisted side more involved. Is that still on the table for this year? I know a lot of people have been
It's on the table for sure. It's not even about the 2 lieutenant thing. It's just for every officer in a leadership role, there should be that NCO counterpart.
Well, I'm a sportsman, so I'm all two best men out there. I don't care your rank, your age, nothing. The 2 best guys versus the 2 best guys is going to be the best competition.
I think we came up with a contingent to that would be 2 officers and then two enlisted, and then it would be really a war for the winner.
I mean,
we had a specialist come in, 2nd and 3rd place before in the last few years, almost taking those captains off the rocket from the top.
This year's the year for the enlisted. I think it's the year. The real question is, we got only 1 regiment guy in here. is this year their regiment gets knocked off.
That's true.
No.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, guys. Hey, thanks for your time. Thanks for coming out. For all you guys watching the podcast, every Friday we'll have a new episode. We'll be talking to other planners involved in Best Ranger, Ranger instructors, the Sergeant Major, and we're also going to travel out, teach from the bases, so you can kind of, for the first time, get to see some of these guys training up before the competition. You know, start to go ahead and see who you're going to cheer for, and start getting on that bandwagon with them. So I appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. And thanks, Greg, for coming and talking to us a little bit about Best Ranger.
Yeah, man. I'll be here anytime you want me.
All right. Sounds good.